How is it? My name is Shadrach Sanga from Edukea company. For today, we are going to start about the solar system for the subtopic, which is season. First of all, we have to understand what is season. When we talk about the season, we can say that in the different periods of years which featured with different temperature conditions. So season means what? Seasons means that different times or different climatic condition that you get within a year, that's called as a season. An example, there is spring time, there is winter time, there is autumn time. So that's all generally we call result as a seasons. Or other times there is high temperature, other times there is low temperature, other times there is high rainfall, and other times there is low rainfall. So that difference climatic condition that you get within a year, that is called result as season. So directly we have to say that there are four main types of of season. So generally within a single year we are having four types of of season. First is autumn, second is winter, the third is spring, and the last is summer. So when we talk about the autumn, so autumn, this is a part of the season which especially having characterized with with there is high winds, or there is sometimes you can call it that autumn is similar to the winter seasons. And also when you talk about that winter season, that winter seasons is that periods where there is high cold or there is high winds, so that is called winter season. Also there is springs. When we talk about the spring, is the time when there is high rainfall, in the times where there is high rainfall, and also even the temperature is being high, so that is talked about as a spring. Also there is summer. So when you talk about the summer, in the periods where there is no rainfall. So if there is rainfall, the rain is being low and low quantity. Or so we talk about the summer in the periods where there is no rainfall, and the temperature sometimes is being high. But that when we talk about the four types of the season, specifically it is classified in terms of of hemisphere. There is the autumn in southern hemisphere is quite different with the autumn in the northern hemisphere. Let's look about what is the southern hemisphere and northern hemisphere. Southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere. As I told you that each season above this one classified for southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere. As I told you that autumn in southern hemisphere is quite different with autumn in northern hemisphere. The same applies to winter. Winter in the southern hemisphere is quite different with winter in the northern hemisphere. Let's look one after another classifications by considering southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere. But starting with northern hemisphere, when we talk about northern hemisphere, it means that the north part of the earth, the north part of the earth, or north hemisphere, that is talk about the north part of the earth, or how it being classified for those types of the season. Northern hemisphere summer. When we talk about summer, summer is being in May, June, and July. So summer in the northern hemisphere is found in May, June, and July. You have to consider that. And also when we come to autumn in the northern hemisphere, you have to understand we are about northern hemisphere. So northern hemisphere, that autumn is being in August, September, and October. So that is about autumn is being occurred in August, September, and October. Let's come to another, which is winter. When we talk about winter in northern hemisphere, take place in which month? It takes place winter in November, December and January. November, December and January. That is the time of what? Of winter. So winter in northern hemisphere, it takes place in November, December and January. Where let's come to the last is what? Spring. When we talk about spring, as I told you, is the periods where there is high rainfall, and also even the temperature sometimes is being what? High, or sometimes being moderate. So this spring is taking place around February, March and April. February, March and April. So that is the times of what? Of spring. So as we see to that part of what? Northern hemisphere. So each types of season in northern hemisphere having its own what? It is only months. That is all about the northern what? Hemisphere. And also let us come to southern hemisphere. Southern hemisphere from these 4 types of season, which months autumn take place, winter, spring and the summer in southern hemisphere. When we talk about southern hemisphere characterized by what? By the following months. Or summer. Summer is taking place around November and December. This is summer in what? In southern hemisphere. Let's make the what? Let's understand to make the difference between southern and the northern. Summer in what? In northern hemisphere, I told you that it is in May, June and July. But when we come to northern, summer is what? When we come to southern, summer taking place in November and December. So that is to look, there is what? There is difference between those two what? Those two types of what? Of hemisphere, southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere. Let's come to another, which is what? Autumn. When we talk about autumn in the northern hemisphere take place in what? In February, March and April. February, March and April. But when we come to northern hemisphere, autumn, it was August, September and October. So that is all about what? That is all about what you call as summer. Also there is autumn, not summer, autumn taking place in February, March and April. Also when we come to winter in the southern hemisphere, winter in the southern hemisphere is in June, May and July. June, May and July. But when we come to the part of northern hemisphere, I told you that winter is in November, December and January. November, December and January. That is the time of what? Of that is called as a winter. Finally, we look about the spring. Spring, remember that in the northern hemisphere, spring taking place around February, March and April. February, March and April. But when we come spring to that southern hemisphere, is taking place in August, September and October. So we see the difference. So each types of hemisphere, southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere, within the Earth's surface, there is difference types of what? Of climatic condition, or climatic that season within the year is taking place from what? For difference months. In the certain month it taking in that way, but also when you come to another hemisphere, certain month it is what? Different types of what? Of season. Okay, let's come to another, or let's discuss another parts in this what? Season, which cause what are the main cause? What are the causes of the season to change? Seriously, here we can say that season to change, it is a natural things. Season to change, it is natural things. If the things not can be caused maybe by human being. What difference with the climate? Climate can be caused by human being to change. Like when we cultivate the different agriculture, different activities like agriculture, you can cause the climate of the certain area to change. But when we come to season of the year to change, mostly it being caused by natural things. Example, there is here 2 points, which is the causes of what? Of season. There is rotation and there is what? There is revolution of the earth. As for the previous sessions, we discussed about rotation and we discussed about what? Revolution. So what is rotation? I told you that it is the way when the earth move on or rotate on its what? Axis. The spinning of the earth on its axis. So when the earth spins on its axis, it causes the day and the night. That is, it causes the day and the night. So continuously, this way, changing, causing day and the night, day and night. At the end of the day, you have to remember that even the days are being what? Increasing. So the increasing situation of the days, as a result, it can cause what? Revolution. So the result of the revolutions, it causes what? Different times, or February, January month, February month, April, June, etc. up to December. So the changes of the months, it causes the changes even of the season. So that too is among of the major causes of of season. First of all, we start with the rotation, which can cause 24 hours, and finally can cause 7 days, months, the finally a year. So in that way, we can get the different season within the year. So that is all about the season of the year. You have to remember that we are having only 4 types of season. Okay, let's come to another part, which is eclipse. Eclipse. When we talk about eclipse, let's understand what is eclipse, the meaning of eclipse. Eclipse, simple definition is it the movements of one heavenly body, or is the movements of one body in the atmosphere are closing another object, another 2 objects, that is called eclipse. Is it the movements of the one heavenly body between 2 other, but one of which must be a source of light. So the movement of one heavenly body. When we talk about heavenly bodies, we talk about the things or an object which are found in the atmosphere, or object which are found in the solar system. So the movement of those objects which are found in the solar system, moving between 2 other objects, but one must be source of light, that you can call as an eclipse. So when we talk about the one which is source of light, is what? Is the sun. So an example, I can say that there is moon, there is earth, there is what? Sun. So when the earth move between the what? Or pass between the earth and the moon, that can cause eclipse. When the moon move between the earth and the sun, it can cause what? An eclipse. You can't say that when the sun moves between the earth and the moon, that is not correct, because the moon, the sun is not moving from one point to another. It's not rotating, it's not revolving. It is at the stagnant point all the times. It's not in motion. That is. So eclipse involve 3 heavenly bodies, which are. So when we talk about the eclipse, involve only 3 main objects. And those objects, among of those 3, 2 of them are moving. 2 of them are in what? Are in evolution. So example, we talk about the sun, we talk about the moon, we talk about what? The earth. So the sun, I told you that this is the star, the big star. So, but that sun is not moving, but it is at the central point, and not in motion all the times, are staying there all the times. Compared to the moon and the earth, moon is moving around the earth. Also, when we talk about the earth is moving around around the sun. So both those 3 are objects which are considerable, which are involved in the things to cause the things to call eclipse. So sun, moon, earth. It is motion of the moon and the motion of the earth. It causes what? The eclipse. So let's come to the types of of eclipse. There are only 2 types of of eclipse. We are having lunar eclipse. We are having solar eclipse. So when we talk about the lunar eclipse, sometimes we call it we call it the eclipse of the moon. Why eclipse of the moon? Because the shadow of the earth is casting to the moon, And also we are having a solar eclipse. Solar eclipse is that we call it the eclipse of the sun. As the earth move between those two, moon and the sun. So finally the shadow is being cast into to the earth because of the moon. A moon is passed between those two. Let's come directly. So lunar eclipse is what? Lunar eclipse, this occur when the earth move between the sun and the moon, which cast it is the shadow of of a moon. So when we talk about the lunar eclipse, a lunar eclipse, as I told you, that occur when the earth is a first object move between the sun and the moon. As I told you, that the main things involved in the eclipse is the earth, moon and the sun. So when the earth move between the sun and the moon, finally we get things called lunar eclipse. Let's see in the diagram. Let's see the diagram on how that lunar eclipse occur. An example, here is the sun. Here is the sun, producer of light. Also here is the earth, and here is the moon. So when the sun produces the light or exposes the lights to the earth and the moon, remember that the moon are moving around the earth. Also the earth are moving around the sun. Let me repeat. The moon is moving around the earth, and also the earth is moving around the sun. So those two are in motion, and the one that can cause an eclipse. So when we talk about lunar eclipse, it means that moon and earth are in motion. So when comes the earth are moving, the moon are moving. When come at the points, the moon reach to that point, and the earth rotate or revolve, not rotate, revolve around the sun and come to that point. And even in the moon, due to its revolutions, come to that point. So the moon and the earth is directly at the same point from the sun. So at that point, when they meet at the direct point from the sun, the earth obscure. It means that obscure the light from the sun, destroy the light from the sun to reach to the moon. At the points it come, this area is being night, or it being there is made the shadow. So that shadow, the emergence of shadow here, even to the moon here, that is all we call lunar eclipse. And you have to understand that earth, that is situation. When the earth move, reach to these points, and the moon reach to these points, is not occur for a long period, no. It's occur for a short period of time at the points when those two meet. Out together, at the points when those two meet, but remember that are in motion. After the earth move, reach to that point, and the moon reach to that point, it means that it's not direct from the sun, or is not staying at the same direction from the sun. The eclipse is is not there. But if there is there is a direct positions of the moon, earth and sun due to its motion, that is called lunar eclipse. But when that lunar eclipse occur, there is two things that can occur. There is umbra and there is penumbra. When we talk about umbra here, this you call umbra. So umbra means what? When we talk about umbra, this means the total shadow of the eclipse. The total shadow of the eclipse. It means that the total area, or the area which is wool, it is totally obscured by the shadow. The area where the shadow is full obscured, or there is full obscured by the shadow, that area we call as a umbra. Altogether, so that is all about umbra. So this area which there is a total shadow, that is called umbra. But when we come to penumbra is the area or where there is what? There is partially shadow. When we talk about partial, it means that the shadow is not full obscured. The area is not full obscured by the shadow. So this area, as you see, there is no total shadow. In this area, there is no total shadow. So what are the reasons, or what are the causes which cause the penumbra and umbra to occur? Is that when the earth are placing its light into the earth and the moon, at that point the earth is full, cover this area, so it is possible to occur to occur a full shadow. But it comes a point, this moon, when placing its light, that point there is possibility of the sun rays to reach to some extent, not totally, to some extent, to reach at that point. So that situation causes the umbra and the penumbra to occur. You can be given the question, what is penumbra? So when you talk about penumbra, I told you that is the total, no, when you talk about penumbra, is the partially shadow of of an area, the area which is partially obscured, that is called penumbra. But the umbra is the total shadow of the eclipse. Umbra is the total shadow of the eclipse, but penumbra is the partially shadow of an eclipse. So that is all about that is all about things we call as lunar eclipse. But before to complete here, let's make the differences between penumbra and umbra. But you can differentiate it by checking out it is definitions. But you can ask yourself a question: why the eclipse occur for a short period of time? Why the eclipse occur for a short period of time? If you heard me well, if you are we are together, I told you at the first time that Earth are in motion, the moon are in motion. So if the both are in motion, it is possible for the eclipse to occur for a short period at the points when the Earth and the moon are at the same direction from the Earth. That is the eclipse can occur, or that is the lunar eclipse can occur. But if at a point when the moon move and the Earth move, it is not directly from the sun, the eclipse it is not there. So that is all about the lunar eclipse. So lunar eclipse, we say that occur when the Earth pass between the moon and the sun. Let's come to another part. That is called solar eclipse. Solar eclipse, or we call it the eclipse of the sun. Eclipse of the sun. Solar eclipse is a what? This occur when the moon. This occur when the moon pass between the Earth and the sun. This occur when the moon pass between the Earth and the sun. So this means that the moon destroy, or the moon make as an obstacle for the Earth to get the light from the sun. So let's see to the diagram. Here there is there is a sun producing a producer of light. So when this light is being placed to reach to the Earth and to the moon, you have to remember the Earth here are moving around around the sun, but here the moon is moving around around the Earth. Here we call it let's do like this. This is orbit. Orbit is the way which the Earth used to revolve around around the sun. So the Earth is moving around the sun, but the moon is moving around the Earth. So the same case. So when the Earth are moving, then reach to these points. Remember that even the Earth are moving, reach to these points. So the Earth is here, moon is here, and the sun is here. So it means that the moon, Earth are directly or at the same positions from from the sun. So if it is direct their positions is direct from the sun, it means that there is possibility of the moon to destroy the light to reach to the Earth. But because the moon is smaller than the Earth, that is impossible to obscure the whole part of the Earth. it can obscure the small parts, as the diagram shown here. Here there is total shadow. There is total shadow to this area, but this area there is partially shadow, or is not full obscured, but this area is full obscured. So at the points when this moon is covering, so that area there is full shadow. That is called as a umbra, as I told you there. Umbra is the total shadow of the eclipse, and the reason is because of the obscuring of this moon. But also there is penumbra here, penumbra here and here. Penumbra is being caused by by the moon to be small. So there is some parts that can not be full obscured by by the shadow. So that is called as a penumbra. So that is all about the things called as the eclipse of the sun. So here you can be asked a question: why there is penumbra and umbra? Why there is penumbra and umbra? The reason is because the moon is smaller compared to the earth. So that is why an area where the moon cover, it causes the umbra, and an area where there is penumbra, it means that the moon is not covered full. So that area occur partial shadow, in that area occur total shadow. So that is all about the solar eclipse. And also when we make the difference between the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse are differ. So among of the difference is solar eclipse, the moon is between the earth and the sun. But the lunar eclipse, the earth is between the moon and the earth and the sun. So you have to make the difference between those two types of an eclipse. Okay, so after looking at this solar system and solar eclipse and lunar eclipse, there is a simple question here that can make you to make the if you understand or you didn't understand. Define umbra. Simply, what is umbra? As I told you that umbra, I told you that in the diagram. And also penumbra, I told you that in the diagram. Also draw a diagram of solar eclipse. It's not only solar eclipse. You can make the revision even to draw the lunar eclipse. And also mention 4 types of season. Mention 4 types of season, and it is well clear. So that is an exercise you can conduct in order to make if you understand or not. Thank you for listening me. Let's meet to another session.